Welcome to Trauma and Transcendence, where healing meets awakening. I'm Amanda M. Dodd, your guide on this transformative journey. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Let's transcend together. Hello, soulful seekers. Welcome back to Trauma and Transcendence. You've been waiting for this one. I know you have. You've submitted your questions, and I'm so excited to finally introduce to you the old world psychic medium right here with us, Greg Nicholas.
Good evening.
Hi, Greg.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining. You got to tell me, what makes a medium an old world psychic medium? How do we differentiate that?
I am Amanda. I'm fourth generation. Uh, we trace the ability to my great grandmother. She came over from Italy. Actually, where the cover of that book is, she came over in 1990. Settled in Pennsylvania. That's it, right there. That is a little town called Bologna in the province of Caserta near Naples, Italy. She came over from Italy in 1919, settled in Pennsylvania, where I'm from, and the ability went through the family. Now, it does end with me. My wife and I do not have children, and I have buried many family members. So I am it. My roots are very steeped in tradition, family tradition. They knew I had it. I was born on St. Patrick's Day, and I was born with the veil, the membrane, and they were just waiting for it to come out, and it happened when I was 4.
Wow. And I don't think it's fair to say that it ends with you, because I've had the privilege of watching you for since 2019 at the very least. And I've seen what connection you create with your students, how many classes you teach, how many people you're introducing to mediumship. And so when you think about it, there are all these lives who are impacted, whether they've had a reading with you or they've taken one of your classes. I don't think it ends with you. I think it just ripples out.
Oh, thank you. I like that. I'm going to remember that, Amanda, how it ripples out. No, it's good.
Yeah.
I do several workshops, everything from scrying to how to see auras to psychometry, to, like I said, table tipping, things like that. Mm-hmm.
Actually, while you're mentioning that, you were just telling me you've got an incredible class coming up. What was it, November 9th on Saturday? You said divination.
Yeah,
Tell me a bit more about that one.
Saturday, November 9th. It is in Newcastle, Pennsylvania at Haunted Hillview Manor. I did look right before we started tonight, and it is not out on their website yet. It is going to be with me and another medium called Stacia Wills, and we're going to be throughout the afternoon working on scrying, pendulum work, candle magic, table tipping, tarot. Her and I are going to be doing a variety of different things. I am going to be doing the scrying and the pendulum and table tipping as well. But scrying is by far my favorite, Amanda, because I use the black
Yeah.
mirrors, the crystal ball, incense smoke, candle soot, things like that to work with.
Yeah. And there are so many different means. So the people who listen to this podcast are usually people overcoming trauma, or they're just starting to be interested in spirituality. You're welcome to dive into any topic you like tonight. But scrying is, from my understanding, the use of extra tools to kind of kick off the clairvoyance.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Me, scrying is the basics. How many times have you looked at the clouds and seen shapes? You're scrying. You see Mickey Mouse in the sky. You see a bunny. You're scrying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me say right now. What a very famous movie that we have all seen many times has two forms of scrying, two examples of scrying in it. Any idea?
Is it Harry Potter?
With
Okay.
Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Think about it, Amanda. Dorothy runs away. She goes to Professor
Mm,
Marvel in the wagon. He puts on the
that's
turban,
right.
looks into the crystal to see M, right?
Yeah.
Later on, same movie, they're running across the poppy fields with the Wicked Witch looking in the green ball. Excuse me, scrying.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing,
Okay.
don't realize, like I said, looking at the clouds. When I teach, we use the black mirror.
Hmm.
Incense smoke, it comes up, and you have to use a pyramid. One, what shapes do they make? Anything can be used. You know,
Yeah.
there are people who
Yeah.
will use the back of their high polished iPhone. Meditate.
That's right.
It's a
It's
meditation.
got its multiple uses. Absolutely. I love
Yeah,
that.
teach that, but also to tag on to that, when I teach that, I also say, be aware of your senses. You may be focusing
Hmm.
on the tool. What do you hear? Do you feel something?
Hmm.
You know, do you smell?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Don't close down one just because you're working in a certain
Exactly.
vein. Yeah, I can appreciate that.
Like when I say how to
Yeah.
see auras, you're looking at the aura, the colors around somebody. Also, are you picking up on a um, smell or something that you may see? Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. And I took that class. Highly recommend. I took that over at Goddess Elite. Had a blast. So much
Yeah.
fun with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And doing it, they're starting to get more of an uptick in the workshops now. So I do a lot of that. Yeah. But they're fun. But with me, and you know me, I really stress protection. Protect, protect, protect
Mhm.
again. You know, you and I both know, and I'm sure your viewers do as well, the evil and negativity exists, Amanda. Protect.
Well, I love that you're willing to say it because there are some mediums out there, and I've explained this to my viewers. There are some mediums out there who stay so high vibration that they never come down. So they don't believe in lower vibrational beings, and that's because they don't see them. I happen to have a foot in both worlds, and so I don't deny them, and I actively work because of it. But I like hearing it from other mediums, you and Marianne Winkowski, when they say, "Oh no, there are things that go bump in the night."
Oh, I
Yeah,
just saw Marianne Saturday night. We were at an event together. Um, Delightful lady.
yeah,
But yeah, negativity exists. Protect for me. I don't get out of bed because I do this, 7 days a week.
mhm,
There's my divine golden bubble. Or armor up like you're Joan of Arc, okay? You're in that shiny armor. You can help people, you can give them the good messages, but you're not allowing any negative in, nor are you allowing them to drain you.
yeah.
It's like
And that's a big one.
when I've done police work, you know, I armor up. There's my bubble because that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts. Um, I am tapering off on that just because two very recent cases that I
Mhm.
felt, and it
Yeah.
hurts, you know.
Goodness, that's such a niche area. What got you really start? So I have so many questions. When your abilities kicked off at 4,
Mhm.
were you kind of like keen to it right away, or did you have part of your life where you kind of resisted it and ran away from it? What was that like for you?
I never ran away from it. Everyone
Yeah.
was supportive of me because, my family. Now, I should say, and I raised a few eyebrows here, Amanda, with this too. My family and I, very strict Italian Catholic. Okay. But you do it the right way. And there are plenty of
Mhm.
examples, Amanda, of, mystics, the Annunciation, Joseph being told to take Mary and Christ into Egypt in a dream. We can do that the right way. Mine are not where, oh, like at one of my seances, where they're, oh, let's call forth someone who shouldn't be named. No, no,
Mhm.
go away.
Mhm.
Mine are messages there for hopefully healing messages, although sometimes they don't like what they hear, but
Yeah.
someone gone. Um, just last week, I was doing no, 2 weeks ago, a private reading. A lady came through, and as soon as she came in, I got, ugh. I thought, okay, got to do
Yeah.
this. Both her sons killed themselves within a week. And
Mm.
through like that. That's why she
Wow.
was there.
Yeah.
It hurts. The police work. One was, without getting details, Pennsylvania. I said, he's in two. He's in two.
Mhm.
I felt in half. They found part of him in the water and the other part of him 8 miles away.
Oh my goodness. So, what kind of brought you down into that vein? Did all of the generations of your family do the police work, or is that more unique to you?
Just me, just
Yeah.
me. The rest of them did
Did
it
it?
because, um, I started at age 4. My mother and her sisters groomed me. Protect, protect, protect. Again, you do it in the light,
Yeah.
as you know. Um, you do it. You don't cross over into anything. Um, and the that sort of work, the police work, I was approached.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's getting. I'm 62 now, and it hurts. It
Yeah.
physically hurts. Um, Another one was in Cleveland about 2 years ago. Um, I told them where she was and what happened to her. She had been changed. Her chin had been drugged. She was drugged across the floor.
Mhm.
Um, any more details, you'd know who I mean. But yeah, and they hurt. Is it
Yeah.
rewarding? Yeah. Is it something you want to do? No, because it takes its toll. Amanda, it's like, and you know what I mean, and hopefully
Mhm.
everyone else does too. Psychic vampires exist.
Yeah.
How many people drain us, make us tired,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You know, but you with your work and me with mine, people come to us many times for closure, answers, why, things like that. So that's what we have to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and secondary trauma is a very real thing. There's also vicarious trauma. Just being someone in the helping services it does take a toll. There are only so many sessions I can do before I've got to dive deeply into self-care and pick myself back up because sometimes parts of the session will go home with you. Even as a medium, you're hearing, seeing, hearing, feeling things from others' perspectives that's going to land at some point.
Well,
Yeah.
Amanda, to your point, especially you are healer. Heal thyself first.
Mhm.
We have to
Mhm.
be effective for our first person in the day as well as the last person at night. Yeah.
So is that your first protection tip is immaculate self-care?
Oh yes, self care. Um, and like I said, I'm a big believer in the bubble. The armor. I have some people out there, Amanda. Believe it or not, they like the mirror disco ball.
Yeah,
About
I've
it.
heard that.
You're in the center, right?
Yeah.
Bouncing back. Hmm.
So I have a lot of clients who are somewhat aware of their abilities, but maybe didn't delve in, but they've got a generation of children they're raising and they're not sure what the first things to do are. So I have a couple of tips that I like to give. But what is your advice to some of those people who are raising sensitive children? Because you were one.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing is when you have a sensitive child, gifted child,
Yeah.
be supportive of them. Don't tell them, oh, you're wrong, or that's nonsense. Amanda, I do that a lot when I go to see someone who has Alzheimer's or dementia.
Yeah.
Okay. And the family is there, and I'm talking to them, and they're seeing so and so waiting there for them. To me, I'd say, well, what are they saying? What are they doing?
Mhm.
Not like some of the family would like to do. Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You're, you're wrong. Mm.
Oh, I didn't realize people do that in end of life
Oh,
too. That's
yeah. But for the children, encourage.
yeah,
Um, now this is me. I always, when I talk to children, in fact, I had a young man in Pittsburgh yesterday, 6 years old, and they want to talk to him. It's like, okay, talk to mom and dad. Don't be afraid. And he was afraid of his father putting him down, and his dad was right there.
yeah,
And the father had to say, no, it's okay. You can talk to me. Dad gives that rough exterior where his son is afraid he's not man enough.
no,
Encourage
yeah,
children, but also encourage them to keep it at home with mom and dad. You know as well as I
mhm,
do, Amanda, other kids can be
yeah,
ruthless, bullies. So call it what it
yeah.
is.
It
Encourage
is. I mean,
it
a
at
lot of the people that I've trained when we're problem solving why their abilities are shut down, oftentimes we're regressing, and there was a moment in childhood where something was off-putting or hurtful, and I'm undoing that damage. So yeah, the words they definitely matter.
But I'm going to encourage them, but I also tell the child, and again, I take my leads from the parents. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Tell them it's okay to talk to us, but
Mhm.
keep it at home. You know,
Yeah.
way too many times. I don't know if you've run into this. Parents or grandma give oh the child like a rock or something to take it to school because it's going to protect them. Well, that kid
Mm.
is then showing his friends, "Oh, I have this rock. You can't hurt me." Mm. Starts a whole
Yeah.
line of problems.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, they're gonna be looking at them like they're delusional or
And
something, and that's,
you know,
a whole other path.
to your point, Amanda, the people I've spoken to, especially guys, I talk to a lot of men because I'm the veteran
Yeah.
industry.
Mhm.
Um, they were afraid to because they were put down. And
Yeah.
internally, dis-ease, right? It can cause,
Mhm.
not disease, dis-ease. Can it cause addiction issues? Whatever. You know as well as I do, that list is endless. That's where you come in
Yeah.
to help them.
Mm.
But I'm very encouraging to the young ones to do it. On the flip side, I do
Mhm.
suggest to people, please stay away from some of the certain social media um, things.
Starting with a T.
Oh, that, oh, 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, you can give a
Mhm.
reading. And you know what? I bet you can cast a spell on someone you don't like. All
Mm.
right. They don't tell them that's going to bounce back. They don't tell them about protection. They don't tell them how it's going to harm themselves. Right?
Yeah. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play with that, and, that's one thing that when I'm teaching, I pass that on as well because that's very, very important, and even, one thing that's kinda normalized, I don't know how you feel about this, but my aunt who was psychic used to tell me, um, "Return to sender," and one day Archangel Michael said, "No, no, no. Do not return to sender. You're creating a ping pong of energy." He's like, "You call me, I'll take it." What is your take on that? And so many
I,
people do that, return
yeah.
to sender. Yeah.
Or a lot of times, Amanda, you'll know what I mean. People do I think I'm using this right, the reverse candle to bounce it back.
Mm.
And I've often said no. To your
Yeah.
point, it's like the elastic back and forth. All we're doing is creating
Yeah.
a vacuum or, a back and
Yeah.
forth thing. We're both exhausted. But
Yeah.
right there, you asked Michael to do it. My family and I, on my book
Mhm.
cover, that's the monastery of St. Benedict in Italy. St. Benedict is the patron saint against evil and demons.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
always on me, on my wrist, on my table, and everything. I insisted that be the cover of the book just because of the family strong devotion. Very strong.
Yeah.
Now, again, and I understand that has to do with beliefs and things like that, but bottom line is protect. But like you said, Archangel Michael, take it, dispel. 100%.
Mhm. And they're all too happy to help, but, I always keep it high vibration. I don't call on anything that's untrustworthy or sketchy, and there are ways to test now because, like I told you, I'm doing a lot of spirit releasement work these days, and entities are playing tricksters. They are trying to show up as angels. I pulled, something out of someone about a month ago. It was claiming to be Saint Germain.
Really?
So always asking, yes. So always asking, are you of the highest of light? Are you for the highest good of humanity? And asking 3 times, and they will start to cringe and pull back. But there
All
are
right.
some serious trickster energies right now doing that. Yeah.
There are now also, Amanda, when you ask that, I get it. Do you also feel it? Solar
Yeah.
plexus.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. I can feel it, and sometimes I can hear it. I can hear the hesitation because I've got and I see them as well. It's the whole gamut of fun, but yeah.
No, and
So
you're
I
right.
can kind of pick up
Point.
and I'm like, who are you? Oh, sorry, I missed that.
It's getting worse out there with the tricksters coming through. And
It
are you
is.
still finding more and more people, and I do not agree with this, being
Mm.
inquisitive, wanting to engage with, talk to, work with demons?
So
I,
because of where I am at the shop, there are some people who come in just for that. I personally do not. I am angels and source only, or my loved ones in spirit will actually come through as part of my readings, as part of my guides to help me. That's really kind of my circle. That's how I
No,
keep it.
I do, but more and more
Yeah.
people are inquiring, what about X demon? This, why are you
Mm,
doing?
mm-mm.
You're asking for trouble.
Yeah. No, I've pulled too many out of people to endorse anything like that. Absolutely not. And you can see how it completely wrecks their life and then that of the people around them. So
What-
we're getting way off topic. So when did you actually start doing mediumship as a service?
Oh, as a service, well, I started at age 4. As a service, golly, 25, 30 years ago. See, for many,
Yeah.
many years, my career was employment law, human resources. Seeing auras and stuff like that, I could tell I did a lot
Yeah.
of investigation, sexual harassment, discrimination, if you were lying. And I knew when to push. Now, I had to get an admission. I can't go on the witness stand and say, oh, their aura turned orange. That ain't going to work. But no,
Yeah.
as a service, about 25 years ago, 30 years ago, as a service. And then professionally, oh God, I've been doing it this way for many years. See, here's the thing,
Yeah.
too. Gregory Nicholas is not my real name.
Yeah.
Just for security,
Mhm.
okay? Because I've been called the devil, the son of Satan. You pick,
Mm.
okay?
Yeah.
But I do work now, I'm happy to say, all over the world. I have someone in Singapore, New Zealand, Japan, Russia. Now, that one made me nervous because I never knew who was listening.
They're quite open, actually, especially with healing work, the emotion
No,
code, and hypnotherapy, like QHHT. There are lots of people from there. They're opening up.
yeah, but that's that's it. So professionally for many, many, many years, and
Yeah.
it's bigger and bigger. And but I'm lucky. I enjoy it.
So as you said that, what I was realizing and what I was hearing was you were training. You were in that position of HR. You had to really discern who was telling the truth, who's not. And I'm thinking, God, what a perfect setup for working with law enforcement on missing persons later, as you were really like honing in that skill.
Because of, yes, and to your point, not only what I see when I was talking to somebody, feel.
Yeah.
You and I are both empathic. Okay, we have to protect ourselves so that A, we are not drained daily, and B, that we maintain our energy. We have to be, again, as spot on and helpful to our first person as our
Yeah.
last, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
hmm
So, one of the questions that I've got here is what advice would you give someone just starting to use their mediumship skill and has a desire to help law enforcement? What would be a good kind of pinpoint direction for
Well,
them?
okay, to trust, protect, okay, and also to realize that you have to be with the right law enforcement group. You know?
Oh,
Well, think about it. Not all of them are open to us.
okay.
There have been
How do you begin to know? How do you even navigate that? I have no idea.
You know what? You don't, Amanda. It's just for me, it was who
Yeah.
I knew. And then other people who I've been at events with members of law enforcement. Oh, that's crazy. Well, then you always have one that comes up. So what do you do? Give me your card.
Yeah.
You know, I just had 3 weeks ago, a lady came through sitting in front of me and I saw a badge. I saw red hair. It was a young officer who was killed not long ago. And he was
Mm.
right there. It was a relative of his. I even said his name, which names for me are hard.
Names are
But
hard for me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
put it out there. But also, again, and you and I are going to know what we mean, Amanda, don't be phony. Do
Hmm.
not try and be
Hmm.
bigger than you are. Let ego get in the way or anything like that. We have to be
Yeah.
down because we have to explain. And also, for anyone listening, you will be tested.
Yeah.
You will be tested with lies, fake evidence, things like that. One thing, too, that has helped me psychometry.
Mm.
A lot of times with those, there's items you may not be permitted to hold them, because
Yeah.
fingerprint, whatever, chain of custody, but you can look.
Mhm.
The energy. Do you see the energy? Do you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning names are hard, and that is so it is hard, but I bet you have the same ability that I do, in that if someone tells me the full name of the relative, I can follow that stream of energy to kingdom come.
All I
Can you?
really, all I need is really the first name.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
follow it too. Now, I every
Yeah.
now and then I'll blurt one out. And on the upcoming TV show that you and I talked about, there's a small clip. It's not out
Yeah.
yet, where I just blurted out a name, and it was not a common name at all, and
Yeah.
it was spot on, and I was surprised myself. But
So that was Dark Echoes. Was that the first episode or the second?
Dark Echoes Paranormal. There's 5 or 6 out there on Amazon.
Mhm.
My episode is called Palmyra. It was filmed in Palmyra, New York at the Historical Society. It's 2 parts. The first part has to do with a local celebrity from the Boston area. I'm in it very little. The second part, which it's all about me, is coming out, but they are not out yet. They're still in the queue on Amazon, and I at this point I do not know a release date.
Okay, and you said that was available on Amazon Prime and Paraflix.
Paraflix, yeah. Paraflix is a pay service. They do offer a free 3-day trial. However, when I know, you can bet I'm going to blast it out there.
I'll be waiting. I already went back and looked at
Okay,
all the older episodes, and I was like, these aren't Greg.
yeah, no, but Palmyra is the key. Dark Echo, Palmyra. Um, and get back to your point about the people interested in police work too.
Yeah.
You're going to have to prove yourself.
Mhm.
You know,
Are there some kinds of practice that you recommend when someone's working towards that?
um, well, it's a confidence thing. A lot of readings, doing the readings, the mediumship, maybe on people you don't know. For I would say the people I know who have been successful have always been the ones who have done many house parties where you have many people, different energies, because you have to be able to discern.
Okay.
Yeah,
This one is a personal question, and it's one that I know many mediums have a hard time with. When we're doing the psychic fairs, it's a long day, it's reading after reading after reading. Do you have any tips for navigating that?
protect. Now, me, yes, protect, but Amanda, you cut those cords between each
Yeah.
one. You
Yeah.
take your psychic scissors, your psychic machete. You and I are done with the reading. This is me. And there's my
Mhm.
sword. I have to end the energy between us so that I can
Right.
connect with the next one.
To start fresh and clean. Yeah.
hmm I'm a big believer in that, cutting the cords. You know what, also, have you ever heard? I tend to do this. I cut the cords when I wake up in the morning because you never know who you dream of
Mhm.
it.
I don't do it in the morning, but I do close portals.
Oh,
That is something that I've learned.
I bet. Yeah.
What was I doing last night? I don't know, and I don't know where I was doing it. And so, just for that moment, I have the intention before I wake up. And in case I forgot, I do it before I go to sleep. I close
Yeah.
all portals within and around me. I'm sleeping soundly tonight.
Peace because you have to rest.
Yeah.
And I bring in like Archangel Michael to help me protect.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're guaranteed a better night's sleep that way every single time.
Boy, are you right. hmm
Yeah. So, how would a medium begin to get started or connected to law enforcement? Can they put feelers out?
Some people I know, and it's so different, Amanda. Do we have
Mhm.
connections like in a smaller town where you know law enforcement officers? Okay. Some people even have put it out on Facebook in their specialty page. You know, parties, corporate events, public
Mm.
speaking, police work. You know, or cold cases. You don't want to blast
Okay.
it out there because that's one way to you to be shot down. That's all they want to do for the notoriety. I have seen over the years it's just the subtle work,
Yeah.
you know.
Is there a specialized training that you would recommend on top of mediumship basic and advanced?
No. I always believe that the first and foremost is your intention here and here.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Nothing specialized because I'm just going to say it. I'm sure you and I both, I know many of people who have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars for mediumship. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that candle behind you has more as a gift than they do. It's
Mm,
desire, sincere desire. Too many people are doing it for the wrong reason, Amanda.
I think that kind of brings me back to me. So, discerning empathic mediums, I feel like when someone is an empath, we really do want to help people. And that desire to support is
Hmm.
such a door opener.
Yeah. And I have a real problem with certain people who say, mediums, oh,
Mm.
I don't need to learn anymore. I know all
Oh,
there is.
I'm never going to stop learning. The
Well,
day I'm learning is I've
I mean,
passed.
yeah, you learn, I learn from you. We can learn from it.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I'm up there. Or no, oh, I won't do that.
Yeah.
You um, we don't have to do everything, but and also, please, 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 for anybody wanting to learn it, do not be condescending or talk down to. Mm-mm.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, overall, that's just a constricting energy. It's going to be hard to open to spirit if you're shutting people down in the 3D. That's
Yeah,
not going to
no,
work.
you're right. But you and I have been doing this for many, many years.
Yeah.
Okay, we have learned. Then you have some people who like, I vibrate too high. It won't work on me.
Mm.
Oh, no, no. Let's lose that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are a couple of different questions here. One that I find interesting is when you're working a case, do you typically take one case at a time? Do you take multiple cases?
Well, I do one at a time.
Yeah.
I have to because not only am I doing that case, but I also have my normal work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My daily work, whether it be at shops, parties, virtual work, whatever, one at a time. Because to me, we owe it to that victim
Yeah.
to do it right. You know, not more than once, not more than one. Mm-mm.
And then are there certain
It all,
boundaries that you maintain to have a higher vibration or to have more access to spirit? Like, do you build up some spiritual energy for a few days before?
I try to, but again, I always amp up my protection. Again, there I go too. And you bring in your angels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, the four big
Mhm.
ones, to help me with very clear, complete, and concise and accurate messages.
Yeah.
You know, I am
So
a
that's,
big believer because, Amanda, it's not just
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
We're bringing it in.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I push. And when I teach my people, I give them the spiel that I use. And they often come back and they're like, do I have to say the whole spiel? No, make it your own. But that is for me too, is setting that intention initially and saying, okay, let me be to the highest and best degree of service that I can be today for the sake of myself and my client. May they do their best work today and may the connections be clear, kind
Yeah.
of situation. Do you have your own as well?
Yeah. Well, and two, to your point, when I do that, you bring in Archangel Gabriel to help with communication, to
Yeah.
pick the right words to speak. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true because there are so many words in the English language that we can bring through, and they often they have that double meaning, and spirit always knows exactly the right word
oh,
that's going to resonate with the client.
no, good point. But
Yeah.
protect and be sincere. Do it. If they, if you are, how do I say this? Not cast aside, brushed off.
Hmm.
Okay, that's fine. Accept it and go on. Don't keep running back. It's not going to work.
Mm.
You know. Um, it's one, yeah, and document. Oh God, document. Okay, when you do that sort of work, Amanda, one must document. Okay, but
Yeah.
also please remember, know when to take a break.
Hmm.
Draining, uh, police work of any kind can be very draining.
Yeah.
It's like when I was doing it professionally in HR, in human resources, and you're doing a really intense discrimination case or sexual harassment. It's draining. You really have to focus. And by gosh, when you're done and you're right, because their aura's all over and you're documenting and you're about to push to get that final admission, by gosh, when you're done, you're exhausted.
Yeah. Absolutely. That kind of comes to another question. Do you use remote viewing? Do you consider it remote viewing when you are exploring and doing this work?
I do. And you know what? A lot of times I find myself doing it subconsciously, unaware. I'm unaware. It's like I'm talking to you and oh, there I go. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a big believer in remote viewing and astral travel.
Yeah. I I love that you mentioned the subconscious part because I often laugh and say for most of my life I was an unconscious medium. Wasn't doing it on
Good one.
purpose.
I do
What?
a good one. The unconscious medium. Yeah. But remote viewing, yeah. Um, Now people practice. I know plenty of people who practice. Like say you wanted to practice. I would set a picture or whatever on our dining room table at night. You would then do your thing to come, and in the morning you would call me, hey Greg, is it this? This is what I got. And I would either say yes or no.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can.
Wow, that would be incredible.
Doing
Yeah.
police work, Amanda, you have to use all your gifts, not only seeing, but you may feel. What if you're hearing?
Mhm.
You're doing police work and you're looking at something and you hear, it's like, what? Feel
Yeah.
like that one case I told you. It hurt where I was cut in half.
Mm.
It's not just seeing.
And so when you document, I'm guessing you're documenting as I see, I hear, I feel, I know, I sense, I smell.
This is what I got based on my sense of hearing, feel, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. I
Hmm.
love that. Uh, so out of the cases you've handled, how many have been resolved? It's a hard thing to know. It's a tough question.
It is hard to know. I know of off the top of my head 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I don't, and some you don't know because I won't push. You
Yeah.
know, the only way I know the two most prominent ones are when the family has contacted me thanking me. Now,
Mm.
how do I say it? I've gotten acknowledgement from law enforcement departments, but I've always gotten the more sincere thank yous from the families.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's the most important. That's the whole reason right there.
Yeah. Hmm.
Aw. Okay, so do you have any specific boundaries for working with law enforcement? Um,
Um,
you'd
well,
already talked about one
yeah,
case at a time, but
the
anything additional?
the things like that. If it doesn't feel right to me, I say no. I don't force it.
I love that. I love that you're willing to turn a case down because you're just not feeling it or something feels off.
You
Yeah.
know, is it a legitimate case? You know, yeah,
Mm.
you have to. This is where your gut goes in as your empathy, Amanda. Hmm.
Yeah. So we talked about the bubble. Do you have a favorite form of protection? We talked
The,
about cord cutting.
the bubble,
Yeah.
the bubble.
So
Just
that's
every
your
morning, here's my divine golden white light bubble. That, and I like the armor too. I do like the armor. Like ladies, you're Joan of Arc. Gentlemen, Archangel Michael, King Arthur. Hmm.
yeah. And so when you practice it, you practice that visualization coming in really strong.
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. It's just easy. I'm a visual person. Now, some people actually have to have something beside them, like a mirror or a picture of a bubble, and put themselves in it. And I get it, if
Oh,
you need to,
yeah.
but for me, it's just there. It is.
That's an interesting option. And because I'm highly visual too, but just in terms of like teaching, that's a really nice, different way to do it. I love that.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Or some people for the mirror, Amanda. When I teach, sometimes I have two small mirrors. Do you need to put your name into it and put it between them?
Mm.
You know, we all learn differently.
Back to back, I'm guessing mirrors facing outward.
Correct. Yeah.
not, not inward.
No, no, no. Yeah.
No, just the feeling of it was like, oh, that'd be bad.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It would be like an endless loop of energy bouncing back
Yeah.
and forth, and you'd be in the middle. Ooh,
Now, I do know people
okay.
the mirrors face to face to keep the negative energy on someone. We know someone who isn't the nicest person, maybe throwing all kinds of negative energy
Mm,
at us. Name on a piece of paper, mirror, mirror, facing each other. You know, that's a different story.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even. Michael has all kinds of interesting rules sometimes. It's
Mm,
like, well, who am I? Who am I to question? So I kind of stick to it, but I had noticed I was in like an infinite loop of ping pong, and I would wake up, and back then I had a serious fear of snakes, and I would be getting these impressions of snakes, and I'd be like, where are these coming from?
mm-hmm.
And so finally he's like, oh yeah, this is where they're coming from. And he's like, when you return to sender, what do you think you're doing? And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, hmm,
You know what, Amanda? A lot of times when I get snakes,
hmm,
shedding skin and growing.
yeah. I'm over it now, thankfully, but
Yeah.
now I'm okay, and actually we enjoy them, but
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
times you're growing, you're shedding your skin. I get it. I have the same fear. It depends on the context.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, I think it was a hint. I had to go look at past lives, and then I was able to
Oh,
fully get out of it.
yes. Got it.
It was a hint, and after I found it, the fear is gone. So now I'm all set. But I didn't realize how I was feeding it with the whole return to sender thing. And then Michael was like, "Stop that now.
Oh,
Give
yeah.
it to me."
Mhm.
Like a little kid, I'm like, "Here you go."
Also, I this work with light. Like someone needs,
Yes.
like for you, to me, there's Christmas green. That's Archangel Raphael upon you. Okay.
Mhm.
Michael is the royal purple, the amethyst color for them. Okay. Uh, to help you communicate more clearly or whatever, there's the sky blue for Gabriel. You know, for more protection all around, there's the copper color for Uriel.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you really bring in the visual elements, and then
I
anything else that comes with it.
I always have, Amanda. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Aw. Okay, let's see what else we got here. If spirit uses your frame of reference to communicate messages, would studying other cases and policing involved with missing cases be helpful to receive from spirit about these kinds of cases?
It could
That's
be.
an interesting one.
Yeah, it could be, Amanda. You know, also a fresh set of eyes. I'm stuck on one or whatever. Hey, Amanda, take a look at this. Sometimes you just
Mhm.
see it, read it to feel. There's no one set way.
Yeah.
You know, with anything, there is no one set way.
Have you built up a little network of mediums for yourself to kind of double check in with?
Yeah, but you know what? They change from time to time, depending on
Yeah. Yeah.
ability. Yeah. Like, hey, by the way, but it always first of all, you trust. Like it's a hey, Amanda, what's going on here? Why am I getting this? You know?
Mhm.
But because it just feels right with you. Next week it could be, oh, I have to call a buddy of mine in Berea. Hey, what are you
Yeah.
picking up on this? But we do that. Yeah, we all do that too, because let's face it, it's real easy for us to doubt, which we do every
Okay.
day. Is this really making sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we're very spirit led, and sometimes spirit just wants you to go a certain way.
Yes. And it's not always our way.
It's never my way.
No, no.
No, it's never been my way. Oh, goodness. I think we've actually answered all of those. That was amazing. Thank you for sitting through all of those
Oh,
questions.
problem. My pleasure. Mm,
So, coming back to it, you began in your 30s. Was that about
roughly.
right?
I've always done it, but the 30s was more of the start of the professional time. Yeah. as well. And you do it for. I always tell people when I teach, like how to see auras. You walk into a funeral home. You can tell who's sincere. Someone's gone. You can tell who isn't.
Mhm.
You
It's
go to
true.
a wedding. You can tell who's if it's going to work, and you can tell if it isn't by looking at the
Yeah.
bride, the groom. As I tell everybody, those auras better blend, because if they don't, I'm keeping my.
Mhm. Keeping that receipt.
Mm. But to your point, I mean, it's always learning.
Yeah.
We are always learning, whether it's a new form of divination. What about if it's a new form of muscle testing? Okay,
Mhm.
yes, no, or yes, no.
Yeah.
You know?
That one's my favorite. So if we're going to talk about protection and clearing and setting up for a reading and cleaning up after, that one is by far my favorite.
Yeah,
Whether it's pendulum or muscle testing, I will do both every single time before a reading just to check that
yeah.
everything's open, running well, I've got no cords, I'm clear, I'm ready to do this work,
Mm-hmm.
nothing in my way.
Yeah, you're right. But I
Yeah.
mean, and the thing is, if you do this, people kind of know what you're doing, but
Yeah. A sway test is very subtle.
they really don't.
Yeah. And you can do it mentally too. You can start to anchor that in. And so I don't know if you're familiar with her, Maureen. Oh, goodness. What is her last name? Saint Germain.
Okay.
She teaches this really cool technique for taking your sway test and making it mental. So rather than the body move forward, show me a green light, show me a
Oh, I
red
like
light.
that.
Yeah, so you don't even have to bring it out in the world anymore.
You
But you want to start with, the physical.
show me a red. Ooh, good one.
Yeah, then you can alter that. It can be anything,
Yeah, that can be anything. Yeah, it can show me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. I mean,
right?
that's a good one. Thank you. I do like that because I'm visual,
Yeah, me too.
highly visual. So
And that's more likely to get my attention because I don't always that's the thing about mediums. If we're not grounded, we're not always embodied. We don't always realize what the body's doing. We're busy playing up there.
or to
Yeah.
your point, if we're at a fair, one after the other, and we've just had a very difficult client,
Mm,
and we're there. Okay, I'm grounding because here comes my next one or whatever. We don't always have time to do that, but I do like that. The green light, red light, green light, or whatever it's called. Yeah. Good one.
So I haven't yet made it all the way through the book. Is there a favorite part that you have?
Oh, probably some of the funny stories in there, the things that have
Yeah.
happened. Um,
Yeah.
the one I particularly like is the lady, and God bless, she's a real good client of mine. Um, I was sitting there and I said her husband came through, and I kept squirming and I kept picking at things, and I said underwear. And I said, "What's with his underwear and you?" She said, "I'm wearing."
That's the best part because there's no way that you could have in a million years have discerned something like that.
Well,
That's that validation that spirit just gives as a gift, I think sometimes.
one thing that's even more interesting. It was at a big outdoor gallery event, a bonfire, and a gentleman was next to me, and I was real emotional, and I try not to do that, and I kept feeling things, and I kept seeing red,
Yeah.
and I was squirming, and he was there, and I got a name, and it was his deceased wife, and he was crying, and again I was squirming, I kept doing this, and I had 30 people, and I looked at him, I said, "What's with you and your wife's red undergarments?" He broke down. He was wearing her bra.
Mm.
He was in such a heavy state of grief.
Yeah.
That's what he had to do. And that is one thing that, and I won't get into names, location, or anything, but yeah, does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We all grew.
And that's that element of trust
Yeah,
to bring that through.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my favorite. The funnier stories in there. And let's face it, things happen every day, Amanda.
That's right. Yeah, there really is no shortage of stuff. Like I've been slowly sharing my experience as I grew up. I spent the majority of my life running away from it. So I've been sharing little snippets on the podcast because I'm honestly too lazy to write a book. So
Well, I
I
didn't
just,
write that. No, Amanda, I didn't write it. It was written about. It took her 2 years to write it. I can
oh
write
my
it back, and that's about it.
yeah,
Yeah, but now, a lot of work, a
yeah,
lot of work, but definitely worth it. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
still on
I
Amazon
think,
Prime. If anyone's interested, you can still get it on Amazon Prime.
and also the link will be in the description on this episode. So wherever people are listening from, it'll be there. They'll be able to find it, as well as hopefully some of the other things, because you've got some pretty great events coming up too, don't you?
Yeah, Goddess Elite, last Saturday. Goddess Elite is in North Olmsted. Last Saturday of the month is a big Halloween seance. I am in Ravenna at Midway Metaphysical the Thursday before doing a Halloween seance. Haunted Hillview Manor, like I said, November, doing a Saturday in November, all day training, table tipping, pendulum work, candle magic, scrying, all things like that too. This
Yeah.
is my busiest time of the year because I am amping up, getting things lined up for next year.
And through all of this, I follow your Facebook page, which is how other people can kind of keep
Yeah,
track of where you're going to be. You never stop.
no, I don't. I enjoy it. Day off is actually Thanksgiving Day.
Oh,
Hmm.
well, that will be something to be grateful for. And even then, I'm sure you're still going to have loved ones that you're connecting with,
Oh,
even on the day.
but you know, I tell people, I'll be 80 and you'll be propping me up in the corner for a reading.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. Oh, my goodness. So, with everything going, are you still taking private readings as
Oh
well
yeah.
over the phone?
Yeah, the best way to contact me, thank you, is the Facebook page, Gregory Nicholas. You'll see my face. Message me. Right now, private phone work, virtual readings are taking about 4 to 5 weeks. I'm booking out, and it all has to do
Mhm.
with this is the busiest time of the year. You know,
Yeah.
it's the busiest time of the year, and that's why. But I always do those as well, and then again, I always post where I'm at.
Hmm.
Next week I'm in Fremont. This coming Thursday, I'm in Pennsylvania near Grove City. So
Yeah.
Friday, I'm in Akron at Gypsy Grace and the Vintage Goat. But I always post, and I don't just do one. I post every day for about 7 or 8 days prior to an event.
When I had let people know that you were coming, I said you were kind of like a local Ohio kind of treasure, but that's not true anymore because you're in Pennsylvania. You're
Yeah,
God, you were in Vegas the same time I was in Vegas. You're all over the place.
and to your point, and you don't know, like maybe you've seen about 3 4 weeks ago, I was in Connecticut at
Yeah.
yeah, the Enfield House. Um, that will be out there. I don't know when. I'm guessing next year. It's a docu series. They're going to do different parts. Hmm.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. And so that'll be on the Facebook page, and that's how
Oh
everybody can kind of see what's
yeah.
coming.
When I know, it's like my episodes of Dark Echoes. When I know, I will put them out there. When that is out, I'll let you know. I really keep Facebook updated as much as I can.
Yeah.
Just the best way.
They're always changing it. Do you keep an email list as well?
I do not. I should. It's my
Okay.
fault. I don't. It's just busy. But you know what? To my point, my shops do where I'm at, and they email
Okay.
or text.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm willing to travel anywhere to go and get a Greg reading. I've had a reading from you. You've read for my spouse. They were incredible.
That,
And I'm very finicky and picky about my mediums because I've been one. So
yeah,
there are
and
only few I will receive from.
not Ben R.
Hmm?
You are one, not Ben one. R one,
It's true.
right?
I do it from a different space these days.
Yes, but you won't lose it. You may take a hiatus, but you won't lose it.
That's right. Yeah. It's it really is incredible. It's beautiful work. It's gratifying.
Hmm.
What is the biggest thing about it that you find just so fulfilling that drops you into awe?
The gratification, and not only that, but the sincerity and the gratitude. Uh, One lady not long ago paid me in ones and quarters. It
Mm.
took her a while to save up
Oh.
that, you know, um, the gratification, the things like that. But then again, to your point, we have people say, well, you shouldn't be charging. Well, I
Yeah.
keep my prices very low on purpose. That's a family promise. We have bills. Now we're not going to charge $200-300 for an hour reading either. That's just nonsense.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
That's nonsense.
That's
Um, but we have to do it for a living. But I try and make it affordable to everybody, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, for the most part. And I've had people not book because my prices are too low. Or I've had people question and say, are you just using cards? What are you doing? No, 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 no. I'm using my full abilities.
Yeah,
But I
it's
do want it to
and,
be reasonable. Yeah.
well, and all right, and I don't know if you know this about me. The reason my price is as low as it is, when Mother died, it'll be 14 years ago, the 28th of September. In front of me and my wife, she had arthritis and it was crooked. You overcharge, I'll haunt you.
I read that.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I buried them all, and they'll haunt me. And I get a lot of crap from people, Amanda, other readers. Oh, you should be charging more. You make us look bad. Well, then lower your prices. It's real simple.
Yeah.
But no, they do that
Yeah.
too. It's a family promise, and that's up to that's my business.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And there's something to, it's a reciprocity. It's a way of giving back because it is not a hard skill to build, but it's a tough one to hone, to really do it in a dedicated way that can bring through in a powerful sense. At least that's been my experience so far.
And
So it is a nice way to be like, man, I'm so grateful for this. So
yeah,
I
and
share. Yeah.
maintain. You have to maintain.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
we talked earlier, self-care,
Mhm.
protection. We have to be spot on. Now, do we need a
Yeah.
break? We can only do so many a day.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, maintain. We have to take care of ourselves.
These mediums who are out having wine and marijuana and the whole bit, I'm just like, have a nice life. That's never going to be
Now,
part of my life because I can't afford the vibrational shift that has to happen.
I both know
Yeah.
who cannot do anything without uh, a substance.
Yeah. And then I wonder about the quality and the vibration of the reading, not to criticize others, but that's always been a thought of mine. At least that's how I was trained. And so I don't indulge in very many things. I live in a very kind of concise way as a result of the things I want to be able to do. So there is that. Yeah.
You're, and that's why when I'm out at an event, you will never see me drink anything or even take an aspirin.
Mm, that's right.
We don't want the or need the
Yeah.
outside influence.
I skipped the Benadryl.
Only at night to sleep. Right.
No, not even.
Uh, at this time of year with the fall, that's coming.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you know what? That's okay. Sometimes there are physical needs. And I think Source can discern that of when it's a valid physical need and we're just doing what we need to be well enough. Yeah.
Oh, it's not like dark alley either. No. Right. You're right.
Oh, you are a treasure. Thank you so much for
Uh,
spending this time with me. I know how busy you are, so I really do appreciate you.
my no, and thank you again for having me. And I'm sure we'll be in touch. And if anyone has any questions, it is Gregory Nicholas on Facebook. You will see my face. I do post where I'm at and everything. Um, I'm all over. And if you have any questions, let me know. And always a pleasure, Amanda. Thank you so much.
And pick up the book.
Thank-
It is such a good read. I've enjoyed the stories. I haven't made all my way through yet because I'm a little slower at reading these
oh,
days. But,
it's Dark Echoes, Paranormal, Palmyra.
I'll be waiting for that Facebook
Oh,
update. You have no doubt about it.
I let.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, Soulful Seekers, thank you so much for listening. If you've got questions for Greg, I will have his contact info in the details on each episode so you know how to reach him, how to come and enjoy this treasure that we have. And if you're not in Ohio, reach out and see about getting a reading or a party. But you can't go wrong with this medium. He's
Thank,
one of a kind.
thank you. You're very kind.
Bright blessings, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us on this transformative episode of Trauma and Transcendence. Your stories matter. I would love to hear them and from you. Connect on our website, healingbeyondtrauma.com, or drop me an email at amanda@healingbeyondtrauma.com. Remember, healing is a journey we take together. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired. This is Amanda, wishing you bright blessings.